Well, hello and welcome to week 2 of 4 weeks of homemade Christmas. This week I'm still focusing on projects from product from the mini catalog September through December 2024, but I am using other papers and that, but I mostly am focusing on bundles from this catalog. So I am using this one-of-a-kind bundle, and it comes with the stamps, and it comes with well, you can buy the bundle and it'll come with the dies. So I'm using that one, and I'm using one called Frozen, there it is, the Frozen Edges bundle. So that one also, if you buy the bundle, it comes with the stamp set and the dies. I thought they go really well together. They make beautiful projects. So we'll get started. And I picked a very extensive one for my first card. I'm kind of basing it off of one of the projects in the catalog. Kind of. It's very loosely based on it. So let me find it again. See here it's got the die on the edge, and it looks like they did the one stamp set. They stamped it with the Versamark, and then they used the white embossing. So I'm kind of basing it off of that one, but I did my own change. So instead of doing the die along the edge, I did it along the bottom, but I also did something different for the front of the card, and I used the embossing in 2 different colors on the front of the card. Now, if you don't have the embossing powder, one thing that you could do is you could use some of the papers from the 2 packs here. The Snow Days DSP, it has a paper that kind of mimics what I did there. It's got the white snowflakes and darker snowflakes, so you could use that DSP for your background. That's in the Snow Day scrapbooking kit. That is one of the papers. Now in the Snowy Scenes DSP, they have one that is similar, but it has dark green snowflakes as well. But again, you could use that in place of the embossed background like I'm going to show you. So we will start with, first off, my card base is the basic white thick cardstock, since it's the base. And what I did was I'm using the Lost Lagoon, and I made it 4 by 5 1/4, so it's going to map my front. So what I did to make the front is I took the 3 colors, the Pool Party, the Lost Lagoon, and the Pretty and Peacock. I took those 3 colors, and first off, I blended the colors into the background. So we will do that. There's my Pool Party. So and it does take a lot to build up the colors. So I just kind of start light and just go across there. So you just keep doing that, and you just build the color up. And I go lightly when I step. I do kind of start in the middle, but I start really with a light pressure, because I don't want, see how like I've made those spots there. I don't want that to be on my paper. So there we go. I think that's pretty good. So I just start with my lightest color. Like I said, that was Pool Party. And then I'm going to go to my Lost Lagoon color. So we will go that next. And I have my blending brushes labeled so that I know which one I want to use. Now this one you kind of really got to go light because it will show up wherever you stop at, it shows it. So I try to go back and forth with it without really stopping. And I'm just building the color up. So I do want to transition, I want it to go from light to dark. Okay. And then I will do my Pretty in Peacock. Pretty Peacock, not Pretty in Peacock. Now I'm not gonna go all the way to the bottom with the dark because I kind of want my bottom to show through a little bit. So I will just work my color up a little bit there, like I said, so that it does get darker as it goes. Okay, so I'm gonna really rub, and then I will take this one and rub it, and then I will take the Pool Party and just circular with it to blend it just a little bit more. Okay, so I will show you a couple of how I did the snowflakes, and then I will show you, I'll go really fast to make the whole background though. But to start with, I used the Versamark. Okay, and I used the big snowflake from the One of a Kind. So let me get the snowflake off of there. Get it onto my big block. Okay, so I just take my Versamark and I apply it to that big stamp, and I'm just going to stamp on here a few times. So there's 1, 2, I'm just going to do 3 big snowflakes. Okay, now I will use the opaque bright white embossing powder, and I will just shake that over those snowflakes. I mean, you could empty the whole jar on it because you're going to put it right back in basically. But since it's really hard to see the snowflakes, we're not sure. There, now you can see it is on them. So, and my heat tool is over here on the side, so I will go and I will heat them up really quick, and I will be right back with that. Okay, so I am back. I'm going to go ahead and get my embossing powder back into its little cup. It seems like you use a lot, but you really don't. I've been embossing quite a bit lately and hardly used any of that jar. So okay, now we will get the lid over here on it. Okay. Now another one. Now I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to be doing the silver. So we'll go ahead and mark those, mark the other. I can't, my brain is not thinking. Do the other snowflakes. I really hate that brain fog that I seem to be getting lately. Just I can't seem to finish a sentence, and it's kind of getting to me, as I know what I'm trying to say, but the words aren't there. So okay, that was the biggest snowflake, and then I will show you really quickly one of the other snowflakes. And for the other one, I am going to be using the snowflake from the Frozen Edges. I love that snowflake. I think that's a beautiful one to use for the silver. So we will do that. And I'm just going to put it in a couple of places. Okay. So we'll get our Versamark closed up, and then we will use the the metallic silver for this one. So I'll get my little sheet of paper out here again, and I will get these silver ones covered. I just like to tap it a little bit to try to get the extra embossing powder off where I don't want it to set. So I will go and emboss those, and I'll be right back. Okay, and so there is, it's really hard. There you can see the shiny, how they become all shiny. It is so cool to watch them go from no shine to shiny when you're using the heat tool on them. It just, I like watching that part. I wish that my desk was set up so that you could see that. But I think I tried catching that on video, and it didn't work out for me. So if you can see that on video, it is cool to watch. Okay, so there are those. I have this little guy just sticking out here. I wonder what I had him for. So we'll get him cleaned off because he was also a little blue. Okay, get him in his spot. Get that other stamp cleaned off. Okay, and then for the rest of that background, I also then took the other stamps from the one of a kind, and from the magic of TV, I stamped those just here and there around the card. So that's the card, the card front. Emboss a couple and then use the different colors to alternate stamps here and there. So there we have made the front of our card. Okay, so we've got that. And I don't think I told you the dimensions for this piece. This piece is actually 3 3/4 by 5. So that mats really nicely on that piece of cardstock. So we can go ahead and add that on there. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. You can use your adhesive tape, you could use your glue, whichever works best for you. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add that to the center. Just center it on that piece. Okay. So there we go. Now, for the rest of our card, I took, for the circle, the sentiment, I used the deckled circle dies, and I used, looks like it's, I mean, there's so many circle dies, so you can just pick whichever one you think is going to be the best size for you. That one, the one that I picked, seemed to work just good enough. And I am using the Snuggle Up and Hope for Snow. Thought, what better sentiment than that for all those snowflakes on there. And I am going to use the Pretty Peacock for that. So we'll get that out here. Make sure it does okay. It does. So we will do it one more time. And then I just want that to be kind of centered on there. Kind of centered at the bottom. And I might have gotten it. Nope, I did okay. Thought I might have gotten it over too far, but it's okay. So now I'm going to use the other snowflakes, and I'm going to do a stamp off of the other snowflakes. So we will get those. Not sure what I did with my little guy, so I don't want the dark color again. I want the lighter colors. So I will get my pool party out. I will use that. So I'll stamp it off, and then I will stamp it so that it is just ever so lightly there. I'll do one more there on the bottom. Okay. And then I will do another little one. There's my little. And I'm going to use the Lost Lagoon. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do the stamp off. There we go. Now we have a flurry of snowflakes on there. Okay. So I'm actually going to put this off to the side for a second because I'm going to put this piece onto the cardstock to the base, and it is the like I said, the basic white thick cardstock. I cut it in the hot dog fold is what I understand. It's the vertical with the fold at the top. So we will go ahead and get our piece added to it. I want to burnish that down really good, and we will just use our adhesive to attach it. So then we'll go ahead and put that on the front and just center it on there. Actually, I don't want to put it on there yet. I forgot, I'm going to cut this around. I'm going to attach this to the bottom, and this is a die cut from the Frozen Edges. It is one of the edge dies. So I just took that and used it on the, I believe that is the Lost Lagoon color, and so I'm going to add that to the bottom. Just going to take my tape, my adhesive tape, and add that to the bottom. Oh, yeah, it is kind of close, so I might need to take my glue because it is pretty close. So I'm just gonna go along that edge. And as you can see, it was just a little bit bigger, wider than my base there, so I didn't go all the way across, but I'm just going to put that at the very bottom. And I made, it does cut it bigger, but this way you can kind of just decide where you want to put it, where you want to have your focal points at. Okay, and then I'm going to cut the edges off. Okay. Oh, come on. That one really didn't want to come off of there. Okay, now I can add this to the front of my card. See, I got a few of those little nubbies stuck on there when I was trying to lay it down before. Okay, so now I do want to center it. Okay, now there are a few that they just kind of stick up a little bit. If you want to, you can try to get your glue in there to glue those down a little bit so that they're not catching everything. So just put just a tiny little glue dot and then hold it. And I'm going to do the same over here. Just a tiny little glue dot. And then put my finger down and hold it. I mean, that edge die is kind of meant for that, to have those snowflakes just kind of freely hanging about out there. But if you don't want that, if you want to control them a little bit, that's the way to do it. Okay, now for the sentiment, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to use this iridescent stripe trim because I feel it kind of has a cold, wintry feel to it. So I'm going to put it behind my sentiment. So I just want enough of it so that it's peeking out both sides. So that'll do. Okay. And what I will do is I will add some adhesive to the back of my sentiment. And then I just want to make sure that it is. And there we go. So that it does stay down a little better. There. Okay, now I'm going to use my dimensionals to pop that sentiment up. I do have an open ink pad here, and I'm trying not to stick my fingers in it, but I had it open because I was going to do the inside. But now we'll put the dimensionals on here so that we can pop this up. take the backings off. I saw a video earlier or last week, and I think I'm going to use her little tagline on her videos for YouTube. She says right on there, I am not a professional creator. There's going to be mispronounced words. There's going to be pauses. And so just be ready. So I think I need to put that as a disclaimer on all of mine as well. So for the inside, I'm going to use the Wishing You Joy. That is also from the Frozen Edges. So that's snuggle up. Wishing you a cozy day is what it is. Don't know where I saw Wishing You Joy. That was kind of weird. So let me see if I want to do it in... Yeah, I think I will go ahead and do it in the Lost Lagoon. I think that will be nice on there. So we just kind of want to center. There you go. And then you can do the snowflakes as around the border and that. If you want to just create a little bit of dimension on the inside. So went ahead and stamped off there so it's not so overwhelming. Get that cleaned off. Okay, and then with the other little stamps in this set, let's see, I think I'll use the pool party. That will be pretty. I think they look really pretty when they're just barely see a hint of their color. Okay, so there we go. We've created the first project for the week. Let me get that closed up before I do stick my fingers in there. Okay, so there is our first card for the projects this week. Like I said, I picked a very detailed one, and I see I hit my camera a couple of times. Even though I say I'm not going to, I do it anyways. So there are our cards for the first day of the second week. Thank you for sticking with me, and I will be right back with the second project. This is project number 2, and this one is this one was actually shown in the Mini Stampin' Up! Catalog, and so I wanted to give it a try. It is a cute little gift tag holder. So I did mine a little bit different than they did, but I thought it was very cute. And I'm even going to change it from this one that I made, but it is just a little box, and then you stamp gift tags, and you put the to and from on them, and then you have a little gift you can give somebody so that they have their gift tags already. So let me show you how I made it. To start with, I stamped all of, I took the big stamp from the one-of-a-kind stamp set, so this stamp here, and I stamped just several of them on a sheet of paper. Now, I will start with, since I'm using a different paper, and here's where I made my difference. As I was talking about in the last project, the card, the two The Snowy Scenes has a very pretty snowflake background. So you could do that one, and you could use that dark green, because like if you remember in the picture, or in the picture from the one, they used a green snowflake on the front. You could use that paper, and then you could use that dark green as your snowflake on the front. So that's one option. Another option was in and this is the funny part, in the snow days, my mind went blank, in the snow days scrapbooking kit, it also has that same paper, but it doesn't have the dark green on it. This one has just got the more muted colors. It's got the pool party, kind of the range of the pool party. So that's the one I decided to go with. This color I used, it was the pool party, or maybe it was the Lost Lagoon, but it was designer series paper, and that's what they used in the photo. Was it looked like they used a designer series paper. Yeah, you can tell right there. And I didn't want to use the designer series paper this time. I actually wanted snowflakes. So that's what I chose, was the designer series paper that was from the Snow Days stamp kit. So with that, I'm going to take the pool party stamp pad, and I am going to just stamp snowflakes all over this. All over this piece of, it's just the thick white cardstock, because I wanted them to be a little bit stronger tags. So I went ahead and used the thick white cardstock, and I will be right back as I misplaced my little stamp pad. So I'll be right back. Okay, there, found my stamp pad. So like I said, I'm going to use the pool party, and I'm going to put this over here on the side so it doesn't clang against the glass pad. My dog is underneath my feet, and it scares him every time I clang against it. So I hope that my pool party is dark enough. I can tell that I'm running out, and I just ordered some, so it hasn't gotten here yet. So I'm kind of using the last bit I can off of this stamp pad. So just go around, keep stamping, and I think I just did 8 of them. You can do more if you want a big old stack of tags in there, but just stamp them on there. You kind of want to leave a little bit of room because you are going to be cutting them out. And so maybe I did just do 7. I think I did just do 7. Oh, let go. So there's that. And then I think I did 1 there in the middle. Because like I said, you are going to be cutting these out. So okay, so there's that. Got all of our snowflakes. Now I'm going to add the to and from on there as well. So I'll bring another little snowflake out here so that you can see. See, it's got the to and from. And so you're just going to take your little to from stamp. And that I am actually going to use the Pretty Peacock, because it's darker, and that way we can see it against, see it against the snowflake. So let me do that. Okay, so and just, you do want it to go on the snowflake, because like I said, the snowflake is going to be cut out. So you don't want it off the edge. And you could line it up if you wanted to make sure that, like if you're going to put your hole there, it's right in line with the hole, but I kind of feel give tags are whimsical anyways. So to me, it doesn't really matter where the to and from is on there, as long as it's on there. Okay, so there we go with that. Get those put back up. Get that closed up so I don't stick my finger in it. Okay, now we are going to take that. There are 2 dies in this one-of-a-kind set. One of them will cut out that big snowflake. So that is what we are going to do, is we are going to go and cut out all of those snowflakes. So I will get the Stamp and Emboss, and I will show you how to cut out 1 or 2 of them. And then I will cut the rest of them off camera. So since we are cutting, we want the base plate 1, and then we want plate 2, and then we are going to, and as you can see, my plates are very well used, we want 2 of the number 3s. So we're going to lay 1 of them down, and then we will put our paper on there and put our snowflake down. Now if you want to be sure that your snowflake does not move around while you're cutting, there are different things that you can do, and something that I've done is I will take a Post-it notepad and I'll just take one off of there, and I just want the sticky part of it, and this way it doesn't stick really heavily to your paper or your die cut, but it will hold it in its place. So that's all you're really wanting. So do 2 of those to make sure that it stays. Sometimes I have luck, I don't need to put something on there. Sometimes when I go to feed it through, it shifts, so it sends it off kilter. So it's whichever works for you. So there is our first snowflake tag cut out. Okay, so now we will go through and do the rest, and I will do those off camera. Okay, we have our final one cut out. So there, we are done with that. Well, we're not quite done with that, sorry. This set also has a little snowflake, and for that little snowflake, instead of a cardstock color, I used the white shimmer paper, and you can find this in, it's Glimmer Specialty Paper, and it's the Berry Burst, Old Olive, and White. And so I thought that would make a beautiful snowflake. So what I did was I took that snowflake and I put it on a piece of it, and then I just cut a square out so I could cut my snowflake from that. But I just fell in love with that. I thought that would be a gorgeous snowflake. So that is what I did. I used the cut and emboss to cut that out as well. So we will get our cut and emboss machine out of the way now. Okay, now for the box shape, I wasn't given any dimensions. So for what I did was I took one of the snowflakes and I just kind of measured how big it is, and it's just about 2.5 wide. So I decided to take a 1/2 inch on both sides so that it's just a 1/2 inch tall. So 1/2 inch on both sides is another inch. So 3.5 inches. I figured a 3.5 inch square would be a good place to start. So now we need our trim and score. So with the trim and score, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take on all 4 edges, I am just going to score at a 1/2 inch. So, and don't, since it's DSP, try not to be too heavy or else you'll push right through it. So I'm trying to be moderately heavy, but yes, I did pretty thick on that one. Almost cut through it. So yeah, you just want to give a light touch. You do want to fill that score line, but you don't want to cut all the way through. Okay, so there is that. Now to make it so that I can make a box, I'm going to cut the edges. So I need to grab my glasses really quick so that I can see the edges, or else I can't see them. So what I'm going to do, and I don't know if you guys can see the, yeah, you can see the score there. So I'll bring the box up so that you can see that. See how it's the corners are folded in, and then they're glued. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a couple of these corners, and I am just going to cut up to the score line. And I'm going to do that on both ends. And I'm cutting right on the score line up to the score line. Okay, and I'm going to do that, like I said, on both ends, so that it's all kind of going the same way. Now, since these are kind of going to be tapered, well, I am sorry about that. While I was doing that, my phone, because I used my phone to do this, died on me. So I've charged a little bit. We'll hope that it'll make through. And what I was saying on here was you want to taper it just a little bit on these corners that are going to be glued down, just to make it easier to fold them in and glue them down. It doesn't have to be a big taper, just a little bit. So I do that on all of those that I'm going to be folding in. Okay, so this one, and then this one. Not only did my camera die, but then I had a hot flash right in the middle of it. So that was, I am enjoying those hot flashes. Said no one. Maybe when I'm freezing, but I don't seem to be freezing a whole lot. It's not been too cold here yet in Casper. It depends. We're supposed to get some of the colder weather this week, but we will see. Okay, so now we've got the shape of our box, and I want the snowflakes to be up, and you've got these cute little snow globes too, but I want the snowflakes to be up, to be my center. So we'll go ahead and fold all of the edges up onto all those score lines that we made. Okay, and then we will fold in the corners. So there we go. Now to attach the corners, you can use glue, you can use adhesive, and I may just use some adhesive just to go a little bit faster, I think. And I'm gonna glue them in. Did I get that one? Nope, I didn't. So I want to put them on this part of it. I probably should have put my paper down so that I had something to. Oh boy, and I'm right at the edge. I always seem to run out while I'm on camera with you guys doing this. But this time I do have a backup. So that is a good thing. I was actually prepared this time. So let me get that changed out real quick. Get that put in there. It's like you think I might be working or something, you know, making stuff that I run out so much. So let's get that. There we go. So now we're just going to fold it up, fold it in, and then just kind of line it up so that you've got a really nice corner there. Another reason to use the adhesive like that is then you don't have to really hurry. You can just make your corners as you need to. Don't have to worry about the glue drying on you. And then you have a cute little box there. Okay, so there we've got that. And that's what we're going to put our little tags in. Now to make them tags, we're going to punch holes in them and then tie a string or a ribbon to them. And I do have a tiny little hole punch. So I'm just going to go ahead and punch a spot on each one to make it actually a tag. So like I said, you kind of want to decide where. You could have lined your to and from up so that they would have been more up and down. See, like this one is going to go pretty much up and down in line with that hole. Some of them are, some of them aren't. To me, this makes them a little bit more whimsical. So keep doing that. Get all those punched out. And I think I'll do it on this one. Okay, so then we've got all of our holes punched on our tags. And if you don't have a hole punch, I'm trying to think of maybe what you could do. You could maybe use a pair of scissors to poke a hole in there. That might work fine as well. For the string at the top, I am using the Baker's Twine Essential Pack, and I'm using the white from it. So then you just take your string and poke it through, and then tie your string however works best for you. So I just take and make a knot at as close to the top as I can. That's the easiest for me. So there we go. And there we have our tag. So we'll go through and we'll add the string to each one. So I will fast forward through this. Okay, last one. And you know how that first one went so easy for me, the rest of them just did not want to go very easy for me. But I also remembered that I didn't really let you know. I didn't really measure how long the string is. It comes out to about 6.5 inches. I don't think I would go any shorter than that. You could definitely go longer if you wanted to, but I wouldn't go shorter than 6.5 inches because I think right at that point they are just the right size. Anything shorter and they'll just be too short to attach to anything. So there we go. We got the last one added. Okay, and there is all of our little tags that we are going to put in our little gift box. So I'm going to try to put all the little strings up at the top, like so. And then we can put it in our gift box. Now we're going to make the belly bands, or the belly band for the gift box. Since my colors were the Pool Party, I'm using Pool Party, and I'm also using the Lost Lagoon colors. I thought those went really well with this color. I've made them at 8.5, and then I made the thicker one, I made it 1.5 inches, and then the thinner one that's going in there, it's also 8.5, but it's only 1 inch. So, and you can just wrap them around. If you want to, you could score them, and that might be the better option, is to score them. So let's see if I remember right. Yeah, see, I did score them, and I'm going to try to remember what I scored them at. Looks like I scored it at squared it about 2.5 inches, and then I did just a little bit. I did a 1/2 inch, and then another like 2.5 inches. So we will try that. So I will get my trim and score, and we will do that, because I want to be sure that I am making that a nice belly band. So that was 2.5, so then we'll make that 3. Okay, so that one's gonna go around there. So the next place that I want to score is going to be at, I'm going to say about 2 5/8, maybe, from that one. So that's going to be kind of interesting. So maybe right there will work. And then we want another 1/2 inch. Okay, so there's that, and then there would be a 1/2 inch. Now this is kind of trial and error, but we will see if it goes around there. It should, but we will see. I think it's just going to be just. Okay, yep, it does go around there, and it is kind of just around there, but it does slide okay. So I'm going to use my adhesive, and I'm just going to do the end. Don't want to go up very far, because it was just right at. So put it around there, and I will give better instructions on the website. So there. Okay, so this one we'll go ahead and do 2.5 again. Okay, and then we want to make it just slightly. Okay. And then from that one, I am going to go ahead and make it at that. And then there. Since this one is actually going on the outside of that piece, I guess I don't want it to be right on it. So I did make it a little bit more. So there. And then this one I can attach to it. Okay, but I also wanted to stamp it, as I didn't show you that I stamped the snowflakes on there. So let's go ahead and get those snowflakes stamped on there. It's this one. And I'm going to do that in the Lost Lagoon. Okay. So we'll bring that up here. And I just kind of want it over here on the side. And over there on the side. And I don't really need to put one in the middle, because I am going to cover that up with that snowflake that I cut out. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it around this, and I can also glue it down. So I'm going to go ahead and attach this in the middle so that it will glue down to that belly band. Okay. And then I will turn it over and I will glue this one down. And this is going to be, let me see if I can do that better on this end. I can. So we will use this. Okay. So there is our belly band, that part of it. And then we will apply the pretty little snowflake in the middle. So for that, I am going to go ahead and use a glue dot. Oh, let me close up my ink pad before I stick a finger in there. Get it all over. That would be fun. Okay, so I'm going to took it out of there. Now this, you kind of want to be careful because you don't want to you don't want to tear your snowflake. So go ahead and center it on that glue dot. Okay, and then just ever so slightly pull it off of there. There we go. And just kind of put it on there. And then so that since that is sticky, I am going to go ahead and put a rhinestone or a gem to cover it up. So let me go grab those. So I decided to use the Druzy adhesive back. I thought that would give a good enough sparkle and shine to it. And I'm just going to put it right in the middle. So there we have our little box of tags. My mind would think sometimes. It's like I lose my words and I'm not sure why it does that. But so there is our little gift box of tags. So that is our second project for the week, and this was posted on Tuesday. I'll be right back with the third project. This is project number 3, and this is kind of a fancy card, but I kind of feel it's also kind of simple. It's a monochromatic. I'm just using one color, the petal pink color. I'm using the DSP that came with, let me find that one. I thought I had it up there. Here it is. I'm using the DSP from Snowy Scenes, and I'm using this one right here. So it has beautiful white snowflakes on a petal pink background. And then isn't that a cute little one on the other side too? But petal pink is not usually a Christmas color. So for this one, I'm doing something that I saw on my Uplines group that she had shared about doing. And it's taking, first off, I cut the shapes of the backgrounds. I cut them out with the deckled rectangles, and I used the biggest one and then the second. So I used those to cut out the background shapes. And then what I am going to do is I'm going to take this piece. Now I have already glued some of them down, but I took some of those snowflakes that are in Frozen Edges, those snowflake dies, and I cut them out of just regular white cardstock, and then I'm going to just glue them down on spots where I want them to be on this solid cardstock piece. So, and if you can tell, I kept that corner kind of empty because I'm going to be putting something in it. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run that this piece with the die cuts on it, I'm going to run it through the Snowflake Sky 3D folder. So let's grab the cut and emboss machine so we can do that. Okay, so we have our cut and emboss machine, and since we are using a 3D embossing folder, we only need the base piece and then the gray piece, number 4. So number 1 and number 4 is what we need. And we're just going to put our pieces in the folder. So just as it, you can put it on there however you want to. Oh, I do want the kind of the empty spot, it kind of falls, the snow kind of falls. So I do want more of the snowflake pattern on the bottom of it. So I will go ahead and scooch it down just a smidge. Okay, then we will put it on our plate and we will bring it through. So I'll shake the camera a little bit as I'm doing that. So then when we open it, so now our snowflakes, our little cutouts, they're also embossed. So that's just a fun little way to do your backgrounds if you want to add a little bit of texture to them. So we've done that. Okay, so I've got that. Another thing I did with the deckled rectangles is the smallest one. I cut that out to use for my sentiment. I'm using the basic white thick cardstock since I'm using it as my base, and I am going to go over the edges with a sponge dauber just so that it gives it a little bit extra. Okay. So we'll take that, and we will take our, it is the petal pink. So I just want to, and I'm going to go ahead and bring it down here. And just going along the whole edge. So just do it along the whole edge, and then you can fold it in half and go along the edge too. I liked it being a little bit flatter against the paper, but this works as well. Okay. Kind of smooth it out a little bit is what I want to do. Okay, so I'll go ahead and leave that open just for the minute because I will go ahead and do the sentiment. Now for the sentiment, I am using the One of a Kind, and I'm going to do the Hope You Have the Merriest Season Ever stamp from this. So let me get all of my little pieces. I'm trying to put them back on there and they just don't go where you want them to go all the time. So let's get those back on there. There we go. Like I said, I'm doing the Hope You Have the Merriest Season. So we will go ahead and stamp that. And I'm using the petal pink. Like I said, this is a monochromatic card, so it's all the same colors that I'm using. And I also like that it's not your typical Christmas colors that you would usually see. So I'm just going to stamp that right in the middle. Okay. Now I also took some of the snowflakes and I did a little bit of stamp off. So you do that, then you stamp it off, and then you do it. So it's not the full color. You're just getting a shadow of it, basically. There. Okay. Get that stamp cleaned off of there. Okay, and now I will go ahead and, oh, I forgot, for the inside, again, I also used the same color. So where did I put my base at? Well, let me go see if I can, there it is. Put it underneath something. So for the inside, I'm going to use Sending a Flurry of Happy Wishes. I thought that kind of went along with the sentiment for this, because it's got all those little snowflakes, so you got a flurry. So, Sending a Flurry of Happy Wishes. Okay, get that cleaned off, and then also for the inside, I did the stamp off for a few of them, and then for a few I just did them at full stamp color, just to give it some little bit of character and depth. Okay, let me go get my bigger stamp block. I thought it was over there, but I don't see it. Oh, but I did have it on my desk. Okay. Now for this big stamp, I am going to do the stamp off so that it's not the full strength. So there. Okay. And then I'll do 2 more, maybe 3 more stamps. So there's that one. And these I will go ahead and stamp at full. There we go. Okay, so that'll be the inside. And then we will put the front together. I can go ahead and close this up now so I don't end up sticking my fingers in there. And I will move these out of the way. Okay, and all I did for this was I just layered it on there, and I kind of layered it, staggered it. So I put this lovely piece up here in the top left corner, and then I put this piece down in the bottom left corner. So you can still see the back of the base of the card pretty much, but it also, this way you can see that beautiful DSP. So I will go ahead and get this glued down. So like I said, this one is going to go up in this top left corner. Okay. And then this one will go down in the bottom right. Okay. So there we go with that. Now for the sentiment, I'm actually going to take some of this. It is white frayed grosgrain ribbon. So it's the beautiful white color, and then it has a nice little fuzzy edge to it. And I'm just gonna do a little bit of a zigzag behind the sentiment. So I'll just kind of measure that out a little bit, so I know about how much I want to cut. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my sentiment and I'm going to go ahead and put a stripe of the adhesive on the back, and then I will zigzag that piece of ribbon on it. So I will be right back. I need to go find my adhesive. I'll be right back. Well, don't you love when you put something up and you don't know where you put it up at? That seems to happen to me more often than not anymore. So there, I found my adhesive. So like I said, I'm just going to take and I'm just going to put a bit of it along the back there. And then I'm just going to zigzag this behind it. So it's kind of up, up, and down. There we go. So it's just kind of doing its own thing. And then to attach it to the card base, I am going to use my dimensionals. That way it'll stay down really well. Okay, and then I will probably cut some of those frayed ends off after I get it positioned. Get it. Okay, and then like I said, I wanted it up in this top corner, which is why I didn't put those. And I am gonna cut just a scoosh off here. There we go. Okay, so there is our card. Now you can, I also took, and I took the opal rounds, and I took some of them and I put them on these snowflakes right in the centers. So I took two of the big ones, so put those on there, and then I took the littler ones and I put them on these other snowflakes. just to give those snowflakes just a little bit more character, just to do a little bit more shine to that card. So there is our project number 3, which is a non-traditional monochromatic Christmas card. So I will be back and we will make project number 4. Well, welcome to project number 4. This project was posted on the group on Thursday. This is a very simple gift card holder. It is just a sheet of paper, scored and folded, and then a belly band is wrapped around it. And it is just made out of an 8.5 by 11 cardstock that I stamped around it, but you don't need to do that. But then you place DSP over on certain spots if you even want to do that. So let me show you how it was made. Like I said, this was made out of an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. So they all, line up. It's one sheet. You take that and you will cut it to strips of 8.5 by 3.5. So you can get 3 of these out of one sheet of 8.5 by 11. Now we're going to take the card, the piece that we just cut, and we're going to score it. We'll score one side at 2 inches, and then just turn your sheet over and score the other side at 2.5. And that's all you need to do there. So, and then you can see we've got one that's a little taller than the other. So what you can do now is go ahead and fold those edges down. I just almost lost the card. So see, we have one edge going over the other. Now this is something you don't have to do. I do it because I like the rounded edge. So I take my little corner rounder and I use the 1/2 inch size. Like I said, you don't have to do this. I just like the look of the rounded corner. So I'll take that and I will round the edge. So there we go there. Okay, so now I will go ahead and I'm just going to go ahead and tear tape those sides down. You could use glue if you wanted to. Just kind of want something a little bit thin so that it doesn't overpower it gives you enough room to be able to put the gift card in. So that's why I want to use the tear and tape. So I'll go ahead and do that. Just do it on both sides. You could use your glue, and then while it's sitting and waiting, then you could add your DSP to it, however you want to do it. But the tear tape was just, to me, the simplest way. Okay, so we'll take those strips off of there. Okay. And then, like I said, I did add a little bit of decoration to it. So I took my stamp set, and like I said, I am using the frozen edges in one of a kind. This one, I just used the stamps that are in the one of a kind. So just take those stamps and put them on the blocks. And then just stamp away. And for the colors, I used a mixture. This DSP that I'm using for this set is the Winter Meadow DSP. See, I'm using that pretty blue tree pattern. So the colors that go with it are the Blueberry Bushel, the Misty Moonlight, and even Night of Navy would go well on that. So I'm going to go ahead and take and just randomly stamp the images around it. So let's do that really quick here. So this is Blueberry Bushel cardstock. So it's gonna be kind of like you used. Well, it is pretty dark. And just kind of randomly stamp them out there. And like I said, I also did it along the back. This is not something you have to do. I just thought this would give the paper a little bit of character than just leaving it plain. So there I used the Blueberry Bushel. So now we'll go with the Misty Moonlight. This one might not show up as bright. We'll see. Oh, nope, it still does. Okay. And now I'm going to do it in the Night of Navy. Now this one will probably be really dark. And I'm actually going to put this on the little guy again, since he's just a little tiny stamp. Really doesn't need a big old pad. There we go. So just stamp it randomly throughout. Doesn't really take a lot. So I'll put those back on there. Okay. Now to decorate the cover, I'm going to take two pieces of that DSP, and I'm going to cut them to 3 1/4 by 2 1/4. That's going to go on the bottom of that envelope, and then the part that's going to go on the top here is also 3 1/4, but this one is by 1 3/4. And these you can go ahead and glue down if you want to. Glue or tape, whichever you want to do. Whichever is your preference for adhesive. So in this, you kind of want to know the orientation if your paper has an orientation. So you want to be sure that you're putting it on there the correct way. Okay. So there is that one. There it is. It's like, where'd it go? And then this is the top piece. Okay. Oh, and I knew I was going to do that. I forgot to trim the edge. Since I made that square, I want to make this square, or this rounded too. So there. Okay. So and then this piece is going to go on the top here. So you just kind of want to move it where it needs to go. And then one thing that I did on here, and you don't need to do this if you don't want to, I put the 2 in the front stamp on there. that is in this set here. It has a to, from, and they're on one thing. So I will do it in the Night of Navy, since that's a pretty dark one. And what I did was I just did the very edge, like there's the from, and so I just stamped the very edge, and there I can do the from. So then we'll get that from cleaned off. Okay, and then for the top, I'm just going to do the to. So there we go. That way you can put the to and from in totally different places. I thought that was kind of fun. So get that back in there. Get that closed up. Okay, now for the belly band. I took a strip of another DSP from that same Winter Meadow. It's got the dark blue on the back. So I used it, and I'm making it 10, because I wrapped a ribbon around my card to figure out what size. So I made it 10 inches long, and I just made it an inch wide. And that will go around the card nicely, and have quite a bit left over, but that way it does have a nice snug fit. So just kind of want to line those up. Okay, and here's where you can again glue or use whatever adhesive you like best. I'm going to go ahead and glue it. Kind of want to get my point there of where I need to stop with the glue. Okay, there we go. All right, so there's our belly band. And then to decorate our belly band, I used that same DSP there. And this set, this other set, the Frozen Edges, has several snowflake die cuts. And then the One of a Kind has a large snowflake die cut. So I took those, that big one, and a couple of little ones, and I cut it out of some of the silver paper. So I cut a big snowflake, and then I cut a couple of little snowflakes, but also in this paper I cut some little snowflakes. So I figured this way I can decide how I want to decorate the front of that belly band. So as you can see on this one, I used a big silver snowflake in the back, and then I did a white one in the middle, and then a silver snowflake on the top. So there's a big one, and then we could do this white one, and then maybe chopped all my fingers off so I can't pick anything up. So we could either do this one, or I do like the looks of this one. So we could just layer them like that. And again, this you could maybe use your glue dots to glue it down. I'm just going to take a little bit of glue along that center there for the base, and I'm going to go ahead and line it up and down. Okay. Now if you wanted to give a little bit of depth, you could even use a dimensional on this one, between this one and that one. It's totally up to you. I'm going to go ahead and use my glue again in the center of that one. And I will go ahead and line it up with that top and bottom. And then if I don't shake, like I seem to a lot anymore, and knock it off of there, and then take some more glue and place it. Place this one in the center here. So there's that. Now try not to shake it off of there. And place that one in the middle. If I can do it without bringing them all off of there, that would be great. I might have to use a glue dot because they might not stay down. They're not wanting to stay down. And it could be because that silver paper is very shiny, so it doesn't really have an edge to grab the glue, but it might eventually stick there. So that is that one, and can take that belly band off. Just slide her off of there, maybe. And then stick your gift card in the middle. And you don't even need to cut a notch in there because it sticks up there pretty good. And then stick your belly band back on, and you are good to go. So you, as I said, you can get three of these gift card holders out of one 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock. So if you've got to do a bunch of these, this is a great one. How is that? There you go. So that was the last project. So there are our 4 projects from the week. We had a fancy card with embossing and die cutting. So very fancy card. Then we had a cute little gift card holder with more die cutting. We had our, I say this is a simple card, even though it was embossing. It's still kind of simple, not a lot of colors. It's very untraditional colors for Christmas with pretty petal pink. And then we had a nice fun little gift card holder that you can make several from one sheet of 8.5 by 11 paper. So thank you for sticking with me for week 2 of 4 weeks of Christmas for November of 2024. Thank you, and I appreciate you guys being here. You guys mean so much to me. Thank you.